Hello everyone and welcome to English Bus Lessons. My name is Wayne and I am pleased to meet you. And I am also very pleased to introduce to you the American School Textbook Vocabulary Key series of books by English Bus. Now, these books have many pages of useful lessons that are designed to teach students the English language in an effective and organized manner. It also teaches the students how to use vocabulary, common English vocabulary, in a useful way. So, if you're ready, let's take a look and see what's inside this book and open to the first unit, Unit 1, on page 10. And the title is Our Community. Our Community. So, do you know what is a community? Yeah, a community is like a place, and it's the people in the place. So a community is a place of people. Now, let me tell you about my community in Canada. I'm from Canada. Now, I didn't live in a city, and I did not live in a town. I lived in a small village, like a fishing village and farming area, many animals. There were many animals of cows and pigs and lots of trees. There's a river that goes near my home and it's next to the sea. So it's very beautiful. But there's not many people in my home area, in my community. So the community is the area and the people. Now, what about your home? Are there many people in your area? Do you live in a big city or do you live in a small area? What are the people like? What buildings do you see? All right, so let's start talking about community and learn some key words, okay? So on page 10, the key words, the first one is neighborhood. Now, the neighborhood, let me show you a picture of one neighborhood. There's one neighborhood right here. This is called a suburb also. That's another name for this neighborhood. This neighborhood has many houses. They're not very tall houses, but there's many houses living together or that are near each other. People are living together in these houses. So this community, this neighborhood has a lot of houses that are kind of the same size and look very similar. So that is one thing. A neighborhood is actually the area where you live. So I told you about my neighborhood in Canada. Not many homes, not many people, lots of trees, lots of land and animals. That's my neighborhood. What is in your neighborhood? If you are home, you're home now, look out your window. What do you see? Do you see tall buildings? Really? Or do you see some small homes? Are there many people? Do you see lots of trees? Do you see bushes, birds, or animals? The neighborhood is the area near your home, okay? So that's neighborhood, and that's number one. And there's many kinds of neighborhoods. Number two is community. Now, we talked about community. Neighborhood and community are very similar. Neighborhood is the place. Community is the place and the people together. That's the community. So we say the community of people. And number two, your book says, in our community, people help each other and care about one another. They care about each other. Everybody does. Now, number three, let's take a look at a city. Now, here's a picture of a big and a beautiful city at nighttime too. The buildings are very tall. Many people are living closely together. Not many houses, but probably many apartments, I think, and businesses and companies and other things. So that's a city, a big city, lots of people living very closely together. Now, word number 4 is suburb. Let me draw you a picture first, okay, on the board here. So let's say this circle is our city. That's our city right here. Now, it's very, very crowded. Many, many people living here, many big, tall buildings. It's expensive, lots of money. We need lots of money. So, some people, they don't live here, they live outside. Maybe over here is another small area, and that's called the suburb, meaning outside the city. Some suburbs are big, some are small. Here's a small suburb maybe, okay? And people, they live here. The homes are here. And in the morning, they go into the city to work or go to school sometimes. And at night, when they're finished, they come home because the suburb is quieter than the city and cheaper. It's not very expensive compared to the city. So that's a suburb. And one more time, this is a suburb. The first picture I showed you is the suburb. Yeah. Now this is near a city, probably. It's probably outside the city, a big city. All right, so that's suburb. So now you know the city, very, very many people, and the suburb, still many people, but not as many, a little less than the city. Now 5, let's take a look at the states. Now, the United States of America, USA. Okay, now here's a picture of USA. Do you remember how many states America has? America has 50 states. There's California and Alaska and Hawaii and Texas and Iowa and so on and many, many more. There's 50 states. So in America, the different parts of the country are called states. Now in other parts of the world, like I'm from Canada, we don't say states. We say provinces, provinces. America says states, Canada says provinces, but it's the same thing, the same thing. All right, so those are states. That's very, very easy. And in every state, there are many, many communities. Maybe the states have big cities, maybe they have some suburbs or many villages in the states. Now, number 6 is country. That's country. You know country. What country do you live in? What's your country? Now, here's a world map. The world map, the map of the world. Where is your country? Which country do you live in? Well, we're talking about today is the American country, the United States of America. I told you about Canada, my home in Canada. Canada's a country. Brazil is a country. France and Spain and different places in Africa, like South Africa, is a country too. There's many, many countries in the world, and they have different communities, different cultures, different people. Very, very nice. Now, number 7 in our book is a community center. So let me show you the community center. And this picture is a small community center. This is not a house. It's not a house. It's a community center. And what does that mean? Let me draw another small picture. It's almost the same picture, really. Now, in Canada, we had a community center. So here's my community. There's my community. And there's one building. I had a small building. The people, all the people in the village, we could go to the community center maybe on Sunday, maybe on Christmas or Easter. And what do? We meet together. Sometimes we eat dinner together with our neighbors, the other people in the community, right? Our neighbors. Sometimes we play games. Sometimes we have serious meetings talking about the community, things we must change. So that's the community center. But in a city or a town, the community center might be very big sometimes. So the community center could be very big. Okay, now leader. The leader. Often there are leaders in our communities. Now here's an old picture of a leader. This is not the leader of a community. He was the leader of the United States of America, President Washington. So he is one leader. He was one leader. But in a city, the leader is the mayor, okay? Or in the state, the leader is the governor. So there are many, many leaders. Yeah. What do? They help the community. They organize the community. Sometimes they make laws and rules for the community. They do many, many things. A good leader can make a good community of people. That's what they do. Now, citizen. All right. Well, you saw the leader. Well, now here's some citizens. The citizens are the people that live in the community, in the neighborhood, in the state, in the country. Those are the citizens. I am a citizen of Canada. I was born in Canada. I grew up in Canada. I went to school in Canada, had a job in Canada. I still am, not was, I am a Canadian citizen. Even though I now live in another country, I am still a Canadian citizen. So what's your country? Are you from China? Are you from Japan? Or from India? If you are from India, you are a citizen of India. That's just like that. Now, the last word is citizenship. I said I'm from Canada. My citizenship is Canadian. If I'm from America, my citizenship is American. If I'm from Korea, South Korea, I am Korean. Or if I'm from Japan, I am Japanese. I have a Japanese citizenship. It means, where do you live? Yeah, and where did you come from? So, very quickly, those are the key words. There, not difficult. Think about your home, your neighborhood, your community, and if you're from a country, like what country is it? Do you have states? Do you have provinces? Think about those things. When you're ready, come back and we'll look at the next part of the book, which is called the power verbs. Get ready. And now the power verbs on page 11. We're going to look at the verbs and the keywords and start making sentences. Okay, so let's look at two keywords, suburb and city. You remember the suburb and the city. There's my city, and outside is the suburb. Okay, now the people in the morning, they go into the city. How? How do they go into the city from the suburb? They take a bus. Word number one is take. They take a bus, take a taxi, or subway, or train. They take the train into the city. There, I use take. In English, we use take for many things. Yeah, take your time. Take some medicine if you feel sick. But here, it's transportation. How do they go into the city? They take a bus. Or in your book, it says ride on. I ride on the train when I go into the city. Or I ride in a taxi. I ride on the subway. And just like that. So take or ride on can be very similar. Now, next one, live. I live in a suburb. Yes, I live in a suburb and I take the train to the city every day. I live in an apartment. And now here, this country, I live in South Korea and teaching English. So live can have many, many meanings. I live in an apartment, I live in a suburb, I live in a country, like that. Where do you live? Do you live in a house or do you live in an apartment? What do you live? The next word, reside. Reside. Live and reside are the same thing. I reside in a suburb, right? I don't reside in a city. I reside in an apartment. Just like that. It's the same as live. Live and reside are the same. Next, get to know. Get to know. Your neighbors, the people who live near you, get to know them. Say, hi, how are you? What's your name? My name's Wayne. Yeah, I live in this apartment building. That's get to know. Do you have any friends or do you have children? Where do you go to school? What's your job? Get to know your neighbors. That's get to know them. Ask questions, get answers, be friends, get to know. And also, get along with. Get along with means have a good relationship. Friendly, kind. Friendly and kind. So if you get along with your neighbors, it means you are friendly. Hi, nice to see you today. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Wow, how are you these days? But don't say, go away, leave me alone. That's not get along with. Get along with being very friendly with other people. Now, be close to. Be close to is very friendly. Be close to. Neighbors are often very close to each other. Yes, the houses are very close together, but also you're feeling, friendly or not. Neighbors are very close to each other, just like that. There. So now, the power verbs. You are making sentences with the key words and other words. The power verbs, you can make sentences and start speaking English. Congratulations. Now, take a try it yourself, and when you're ready, come back. We'll look at the next thing, which are the word families. And now, the word families on page 11. The first group. Word families are groups of words together that are a little similar, okay? The first one are streets, okay? Well, a road. Usually the road is not in the city. It's not in the town usually. A road is in a country. Like my home in Canada, it's not a city, not a town, so we have roads. Maybe small roads, long roads, and maybe bumpy roads too. And a street is in a town or a city or a suburb. Usually they have streets. The next two are avenue and boulevard. An avenue and boulevard, really those are streets. An avenue and a boulevard are streets, but a street is very, very thin. Narrow is a good word, narrow. But a boulevard or an avenue is very wide, very, very wide. And there are many cars going this way, maybe 3, and many cars going this way. So there's many of them. But an avenue and a boulevard often have one thing in the middle. There's the avenue, boulevard. In the middle are trees. There's one tree, there's another tree, bushes, like that. And so it's very wide, but it also has a beautiful bushes or trees. So those are avenues and boulevards. Yeah, they're very, very wide. Many cars can be on them. The next word family is transportation. And you know, bus, subway, train, commuter train, taxi, car, motorcycle, and bicycle. So when you go to school, go to your job, or if you have a job, how do you go? How? Do you take the bus? Do you ride on the commuter train? Do you take your car? How do you go to your daily routine, your school, your business, or church? What do you do? How do you get there? Now the next word family is places around town. So look in your neighborhood, around town, around the city, or in your community. Is there a bank? Is there a post office? Is there a fire station, police station? City hall. A city hall where they make big decisions, thinking a lot. The library. I love libraries. Hospital and supermarket, okay? So, and there's more. What can you see in your neighborhood? Look around, you can see more things. Maybe a park, for example. That's another one too. So, very quickly, those are the word families, just like that. And when you're ready, come back and we're going to do some reading together. Read an interesting story that will talk about communities. Our story is on page 13, and the title is Good Neighbors. Good Neighbors. Oh, you remember neighbors, the people who live near you, the people in your neighborhood. So let's read together, okay? Follow with me. Ready? Your neighbors are the people who live near you. In our community, people help each other and care about one another. If you want to have a good neighbor, you have to be a good neighbor first. There are many ways to do this. First, you can be nice to your neighbors. Always greet them and say, "Hello." Get to know them. Become friends with them. Also, don't be noisy at your home and respect your neighbor's privacy. If they have any problems, help them out. They will help you too in the future. If you do all of these things, you can be a good neighbor. Okay, congratulations! Our first reading together. Now that was nice. Being a good neighbor. Many people live together, so don't be noisy, okay? Be kind. Help your neighbors and things like that. Now, before we finish, I want to show you one thing I saw in the book. Each other, okay? And one another. So, the book said maybe neighbors help each other. I help you, you help me. That's help each other. Or help one another. Each other, one another are the same. It's the same thing. Help each other, help one another is the same. So there's some new words, new vocabulary for you to use, okay? Okay, so thank you for our very first lesson together. I'm really happy to see you, and I'm excited about seeing you the next time at English Plus Lessons. So until then, have a great day. Bye-bye for now.